Amalek is genetic. So if you look by the descendants of Amalek, this is the one that we have obligation to remember and to wipe out on Parashat Zakhor. Or you can say, no, Amalek is not genetic, it's a generic. He represents something. And in every, it doesn't have to be direct descendant of Amalek. And that's why we're looking for Amalek, even if we cannot determine who is the real descendant of Eliphaz Amalek. Let me explain a little bit more that. The pasuk that we're going to learn is, okay. The pasuk that we're going to learn, as you can see here, is Zakhor, the second line. The first line. Zakhor et asher asa lecha Amalek. You see, I'm showing it. Zakhor et asher asa. You have a mitzvah to remember. Asa lecha Amalek. Meaning this mitzvah is one of the 613 mitzvot. Around the Parashat Zakhor, we have 3 mitzvot to fulfill. You have to remember, you have to wipe out, and what else? What else? Who can tell me another mitzvah?
Remember.
Remember Zakhor, 1. Second,
wipe out is 2.
Timhe, 2. So what is the third one?
Tell the story.
Lo tishkach.
The mitzvah of telling over.
Oh, so it's the same thing. Remember and don't forget. Okay.
So we're going to analyze that. You have a remember and lo tishkach. Okay? So Zakhor and lo tishkach. So you have 3 mitzvot. I am very surprised that we have 3 mitzvot aseh on the Torah because the word says Zakhor. So first, if there is no more Amalek today, because Sanherib, historically Sanherib mixed the nations of the world. They mixed it in a way that we cannot tell that this is the.
Wait, somebody needs to mute.
Are you, Jack? Are you a boss or no?
I'm a host. I'm taking care of it.
No, I am the host. Oh, you're the host.
We're both hosts.
Can we be both hosts? I like you.
I'm here.
Okay, so let me continue. So Zakhor, I have a mitzvah of Zakhor. Zakhor, door, every generation. And then suddenly I have a problem. Amalek doesn't exist anymore. So how I'm going to fulfill a mitzvah? And better put the question more stronger than that. How the Torah can give me a mitzvah that I know and that the Torah know, God know that Amalek is going to disappear already. And I'm going to have this mitzvah unless I say, we don't have a mitzvah to look for the genetic Amalek, the descendant of Eliphaz, but the generic, what he represented, what he is. What is Amalek? And in each generation, to be able to define him, to uncover him, to point out, and we have that mitzvah. And then the other question is, why this mitzvah is so important with Amalek? You know how many times in the Torah we have the verb lizkor, to remember? So at least 10 times it sounds like a mitzvah. 6 of them are being recognized almost by everyone as a mitzvah. Here they are. I'm going to show it to you. Zechirat Yetziat Mitzrayim, remember Yetziat Mitzrayim. Lema'an Tiskor, say the pasuk. Also you have Zechirat Ma'amad Har Sinai. Rakisha Melecha Pen Tishkach Et HaDevarim Ve'asuru Ma'alecha. So another one that you have a mitzvah Zechira. Zechirat Ha'egel, remembering the story of the golden calf. Zakhor Al Tishkach Et Asher Ikfitzecha Hashem Elokecha Bamidbar. Zechirat Miriam, the story with Miriam. Zakhor et asher asa Hashem Elohecha leBinyam. Zechirat Shabbat, Zakhor et Yom HaShabbat lekadesho. So I'm asking, why suddenly the mitzvah deoraita, only one that we have? I never heard that you have a mitzvah deoraita or remembering Maaseh Ha'egel, the golden calf. Shabbat, we remember Shabbat through the Kiddush. But why is that the privilege of Amalek, that we have 3 mitzvot, even though that the mitzvah of that Amalek do not exist anymore, and the Torah make it for the generation, for generation after generation to fulfill this mitzvah, and we're going to read the Parashat Amalek on Shabbat. And this is the way to Lizkor. And we didn't have a parasha of Egel that we have a necessity to listen. And this is the fourth one. Look at the bottom. I bring another, the sixth ones. You have more than that. You have V'zacharta ki Hashem hu noten lecha koach. What is that pasuk? V'zacharta ki Hashem hu noten lecha koach la'asot hayim. You know that story? He said, the pasuk said, don't say kohi ve'otzim yadi. Do not say, I do it because the strength of my power, I was able to conquer. I was the one who did it. No kohi ve'otzim yadi, ki Hashem hu noten lecha koach. Yeah? God is the one who gives you the strength. The problem is that it's beautiful. This is the way that we learn it in school, but the pasuk doesn't say that. The pasuk said, "Kohi ve'otzim yadi asali ta'ayin hazeh." Meaning, yes, Rav Kook used to explain, yes, go ahead, say, my army, IDF, my power, my strength did everything. But who gave me strength? Hashem. Do not dissociate. No, but it's okay to say that I did it. But I did it because Hashem gave me the power. So he used to say that because in Israel, they used to have a parade, the military parade, Yom HaAtzmaut. And the rabbi was going out to look at the parade. He said, I'm doing a mitzvah. I'm remembering what? I did it. We make it. We won. And we won because Hashem. We won because I'm doing a mitzvah, a Zakhor. You have also Zakhor at Haman. You have also Ami Zakhor Nama Ya'atz Balak. Remember Balak and Bil'am. And Imeshkachech Yerushalayim is another Zakhor. So what's so special with our Zakhor today? Yeah, that we're going so strong. So I will say like this. Before I go there, let's read together the Parashat Zakhor that we're going to do tomorrow. Zakhor, remember what Amalek did to you where? Baderech, when you were in the way, when you left Mitzrayim. So what he did so bad, when we left Mitzrayim, we were going where? That happened between Mitzrayim to Sinai. But what was our direction? Yeah, our passports say that the final destination is Eretz Israel. Eretz Israel. So he came when you were on the way, on your way to Eretz Israel. He came from the tail. And all the people who were weak were in your back, and you were tired, and not fearing God. Who is not fearing God? I didn't fear God, or Amalek didn't fear God. So both explanations exist. Ibn Ezra said Amalek, and most of the Farshim say Amalek. Lo Yareh Elohim is Amalek. Amalek didn't fear God when he attacked you from the back. Others say, no, it's you. You didn't fear God. That's why it was a kind of punishment. But by the way, why we have the people who are weak in the back of us? That's not normal on the tail. Okay, they're moving slow. So if they're moving slow, what you do? You put an army on behind to protect them too. What happened that the back was not protected? That's something that we should create some investigation commission, because this is a negligence that people got hurt because we didn't think to protect the back. That's what the Torah is telling me. Let's continue. So here is a request to you. One day you're going to be calm and return to your land. God is going to make you win over your enemies. You're going to conquer the land of Israel. Yeah. So remember what you have to do. Then, when you are already independent and conquer the land of Israel, Timhed Zecher Amalek. Go after Amalek and wipe it out. Mitachat hashamayim, under the radar of existence. Why? Lo tishkach. Do not forget. You need to tell me not to forget. I saw Alan jump. Remember, it's exactly the same thing of lo tishkach. Come on. But the Torah insisted not tishkach. Why is that? What made the Torah think that I might forget Amalek? So first of all, I just told you that Amalek is not a genetic. It's something that appears during generations. By the way, genetic or generic is not the title of me. I stole it from a class of yeah, but I'm saying something completely different of the article. But if you want, you Google that title and you have a beautiful article in the OU and the Tanakh study, a beautiful article, but this is not what we're saying today.
Yeah, but if we would have physically destroyed Amalek, we wouldn't have it in this generation. So how could it be something not tangible also? It changed.
So be patient and we'll try to explain. So we just say Lo Tishkach, but for Alan it seems to be the same thing. And I'm not sure. Meaning I can remember, first of all, the father of Paul Coppett. He's a survivor of the Holocaust. He met Amalek. And he came out after the Holocaust, surviving, looking for his family, and didn't find anybody. He went to his village and all of them were gone. And on his words, he was as a zombie in the streets. Yeah, days simply walking around. No, he was a half man, a broken man, until he ended up coming to America, married, stayed with family. And Paul said he never spoke about the Holocaust and about his experience. Never. It was so difficult to bring from him any word about that. Until Russia opened the gates and Americans were able to fly, to travel to Russia. And after a few years, Paul take his father to his village. And he said that literally for 48 hours in a row, no sleeping, he was talking. Meaning all those years, and we have seen that so many people who go to a trauma, and bigger the trauma is, the more difficult it is to express it, and the tendency is to go to a denial. And the Torah is talking to that guy who suffered from Amalek. Lo tishkach, make the effort not to forget. Because the normal way of a person after this kind of trauma is to want to forget, to close it, to completely deny what happened. Because I don't want to live it again. Yeah, the other day we were watching a beautiful story around the Holocaust. That in Armenia, my wife is doing a work on for college, for her PhD in college. I have to brag. So she was doing a kind of work, and she found that the Armenian saved 2,000 Jews during the Holocaust. But those people who were saved during the Holocaust, completely saved, nothing happened to them. This is the only country that instead to have less Jews after the war, has more Jews than what they had before. Because the Armenian protected completely the Jews. And it's a very beautiful story. But what was interesting that those people didn't speak about that. And after the tyranny of the communism in Armenia was abolished, yeah, so someone tried to put together the families that saved the Jews together, the one who are in Israel and the one who are in Armenia, to talk, the descendants. And the phone rang in the house of some of the thing. And the phone rang from the family and he asked his so-and-so, is there? Yes, it's me. Listen, we're talking from Armenia, from saying that's, you know what the guy did? He hung up the phone. He hung up the phone. He couldn't take it. He never spoke about that during all those years. He was a child. The trauma is that he couldn't face it. So the Torah said, I am asking you something special. I am asking you that this one, you should remember it. Why? Why? Because it might happen again. Because you might see it happening again. And I want to train you to recognize who is Amalek and what is Amalek in case that you face it. And now let me see what is Amalek. So the hint is clear. I put it in green in the first line. Baderech. When Am Israel, when the Jewish nation is in a crossroad, something changing, Amalek come up. Amalek cannot take it. Again, the time that I know that Amalek in history, play his cards, one when we left Mitzrayim. So, we are not, our identity is not complete yet. We are not in our land. We are on our way to get somewhere. The second time that I see Amalek attacking, not being attacked, Amalek attacking Israel is on the story of Haman, the Megillah. That's why Zakhor and Haman will go together. So what happened over there? Again, we are on the way. What happened? Koresh, Cyrus, gave us permission to build the Beit HaMikdash and to return to the land of Israel. Even yet, the movement of Zionist movement of the day was not strong enough that the people moved all in masses. And that's the story of the Megillah. We were on our way. The permission was there. The process took. So, you're tired, you're not ready, you're not completely convinced with that. So then Amalek appears and take advantage from you. And the third one that we can recall easily is in our daytimes, the Holocaust, almost our daytime. In the Holocaust, it's just after Balfour, and after you have a movement of Zionists, and you have an awakening of the Jewish nation to return to their land. There is a movement like that. And over there, the Nazism, the Amalek in turn, appears when we are on our way. So remember, every time that Israel is having a crossroad in history, Amalek is going to be there, waiting from the corner to attack. And then you have to be careful. Don't forget, because that's a lesson that I want you to have. And don't forget, and you have to fight Amalek. So the question is, so if that is a fatality, I can't do anything. This is what it is. The history wants that Amalek will attack. What can I do? And I say, no. The story of Purim is teaching me that even when Amalek wants to hurt you, not always he can succeed. Not always he can succeed, right? The story of Purim is he had intention to kill off the Jews. He went after the final solution, but he didn't succeed. What is the secret for us to understand, to prevent Amalek from succeeding? Who can tell me? So, yes, he might succeed. What is the secret for us? I have a problem here. In the page, okay, leave it that way. What is the problem? What is the secret for us to succeed? Very easy one, I'm going to tell you. The secret is Lech kenos et kol hayehudi. Esther had the answer. Mordechai feels on the story, we're going to survive. Amalek is going to attack, but the story is that we will survive. But he will hurt who? The people who are weak, the people who are in the back, the people who are following on the back. Those people are going to suffer. So maybe, Esther, if you do nothing, you will be from one of those that Amalek has been able to hurt. And Esther said, no. There is another solution, Mordechai. Kenos et kol hayudim. Unity. Be gathered. If Am Israel is able to find a common way to unite, and usually we are very good on that, when there is a threat, we know how to become very solid and solidarity. So if we are able to use that, and we don't break apart in pieces the way that politically today the Jewish nation look like, Amalek cannot do anything to us. The more divided we are, the more anti-Semitism we're going to see. and the more we're going to have the attempt of Amalek to attack us. And that's what you're learning on Zakhor. So my question first is to try to understand why he wants that much to hurt me. Mr. Amalek, why he's looking after me? What I did to him? And the truth was, we did nothing to her. You know from where Amalek is coming? It's amazing. Amalek, let me try to show it to you. Look, Amalek is here. You see the map? Amalek is in that side where I'm marking here. He lives here. Yeah, in the Emori, and on the bottom where
Rabbi, weren't they nomads?
Wait,
Weren't they
Amalek,
nomads
when
like the
he came,
Midianim? Okay.
honey, when Amalek came to attack Israel, they came from here. Okay, from the south of the Arava, next to Arad. That's where they were camping. Where was Israel? Look, Refidim. You see Refidim here. Look how much they have to come to attack Israel. Israel is not in their way. Israel is not planning to go to that way. So what's the problem of them? So we can understand that Amalek, as I said, is what you wanted to say.
You answered my question.
Huh?
You answered,
No,
but we
wanted...
know they were there because they were nomads. They were like the Midianim. They didn't have a basis.
I wanted to tell you something else, but we're not going to have enough time to analyze that side. I'm going to bring you a pasuk, a crazy pasuk, that Amalek existed before Amalek. You know what? You provoked me. I'm going to give it to you.
Yay.
Okay. Look. What is that? Am I sharing the screen now? I am sharing or no? So look, I'm gonna show you this pasuk. Kedar Laomer make a war against Abraham and Lot. You remember the story, right? Look at the pasuk who is in blue, in complete blue here. This is on time of Abraham Avinu. And I said that Amalek is the grandson of Esav, meaning 2 generations after Yaakov. So it's not in the time of Abraham. Vayashu, Vayavohu el Ena Mishpat. Kedar Laomer is making an attack against Sodom. Kedar Laomer has a certain tactic. He understands that the best way to attack Sodom, is not to go straight to them, because if I go to Sodom and I attack over there, all the countries who are around can unify and attack me back. So the first bet, and they can surround me. So I don't know who's going to be an ally to Sodom. So the best way is to wipe out everyone on my way. Keep it out, throw them out. That's what he did, okay? And what he does, he
was the grandson, but he was the grandson of Esav.
No, who? Kedar Laomer? No, Kedar Laomer is a big king.
No, Amalek.
That's my question. Be patient. Right. So, Kedar Laomer is attacking Sodom. And the pasuk said, when they're coming back to Aina Sodom Kadesh, Vayaku et Sedeh Amaleki. And they heard the field of Amaleki. Hey, Amaleki was not born yet. What's he talking about? Who is this Amaleki? So I hear Mr. Salem saying, now the name is only the name because from the future, the Torah knows that at the end of the day, the Amaleki is going to be dwelling there. That's what Mr. Jesse said. It could be, I have no problem. But it could be something different also. And you know, there is a rabbi that, a very interesting rabbi, Rabbi Marcus, is the first one who used archaeology to defend Torah. Meaning at the day of the beginning, the past century, archaeology was only to prove that the Torah is wrong. So he was bringing that, and he come up explaining that the Greeks, there is someone called Apion. Apion is the one, first of all, the Palestinians today are using the theory of Apion in the same way. That say the Jewish nation never existed. It's a new invention the last 200 years. He's a Greek guy. He said, for the last 200 years, we know about them. But before that, this is a pure invention. They had nothing, okay? And there is another one who followed before Apion, is Manetho. Manetho is the one who said, you know, they were the Ixos. Ixos are the Hebrews. And what happened, the story of Moses, they're not the Hebrews. This is not an invention. Happened to another nation called the Ixos. Okay, you hear well? And he was saying that those Ixos took over the kingdom of Mitzrayim, and that Yosef took over the kingdom of Mitzrayim, and they fought, the Ixos fought over there against that, and then the story, they become slave and blah, blah. And how long the Ixos were there in Egypt? Yeah, they were, according to him, 250 years. Yeah, and in another translation, they say 510 years. That's why the Samaritan, when they translate the Torah, on the pasuk that Bnei Israel were 400 years in Mitzrayim, yeah, Umosha Bnei Israel b'Mitzrayim, they change it to 511 years. They correct the Torah based on Manetho. This is the Torah. He correct HaKadosh Baruch Hu from Manetho. So why I'm telling you all this story? Because this Rabbi, Professor Marcus, come up and discoveries of Tel Amarna, they found that the Exos, yeah, reigned in Egypt for 100 years. And who were those people, the Exos? Are the one that we're learning in this pasuk, Vayashuvu vayavu ein hamishpat, the one that Kedar LaOmer, yeah, pushed away and he threw them from his way to Egypt. And when they were nomads who went to Egypt, yeah, they took over Egypt and they reigned it for 100 years. And that happened before Yaakov Avinu. So, so nothing to do with the Jewish nation. Before Yaakov Avinu, that's proven that the Ixos were there and reigned in Mitzrayim. And this is not what Apion is saying. But the interesting thing that he does, he said, why they call them Amalek here? Because in Egyptian, yeah, in Egyptian, the kuf means the kuf with the dagesh, yeah, that letter means a ruler. Yeah, Meses, yeah, is a shepherd. A shepherd and a ruler. Now, how you say shepherd in Amal? Amal means in Akkadian, man. Amalek means the man, listen to that, an Egyptian. The man was a ruler, meaning who? The conqueror, meaning who? The cruel. That's the Amalek that we find here. Nothing to do with the grandson of Esau. But what is in common of all of them? And with that, we're going to finish because I went over. No, I didn't go over time. Oh, I'm good. So, what is common on all this Amalek? Why our milhama ba'Amalek dor? Yeah. Ki yad al kes yah. Take the pasuk. Ki yad al kes yah milhama ba'Amalek dor. You see this pasuk? Yad, what is yad? Yad al kes yah is the first time that you have the word yah for the Shem Hashem. Is not complete. We usually have 4 letters, Yud, He, Vav, He. Here I have 2 letters, Yud, He. What is the Vav and He? Vav is missing where? Yeah, Vav and He are missing. What other letter is missing in the pasuk? Kiseh is with an Aleph. Aleph, Vav, He is the word Iva. Iva le Moshav Lo. You remember the pasuk? Iva de Moshav lo, Iva is a desire. Somehow the Midrash is going to take that and to tell me that what Amalek wants is a milhama against God. How he wants a milhama against God? Who say that? There are nomads, he said. Or there are the primitive conquerors. There are brutal people. But they found the hatred to the humanity of Israel. They come and they attack the people who are, and they make bombs to children and women, the people who are in the back. And to your very good question, Rabbi Azancot at the beginning, why they were not protected? So there is a beautiful theory that's go perfectly with the Pesukim. Just before that, just before Vayavo Amalek Vayilahem al Israel Birfidim, what happened on Refidim, you remember? They complained just before that. They complained for water. There is no water. And what Hashem said, he said to Moshe, go to Horeb. Where is Horeb? You remember where is Horeb? Yeah. Where is my map? Oops, I lost my map. Okay. So Sinai is around here. We don't know exactly. Refidim is next to. There are in Refidim, there is no water. Moshe Rabbeinu is ordered, go to the Sinai and get water from there. Hashlech et, and he goes. So the people who are stronger, the people who are healthy, are the first one to run to the water. So the people left Refidim. And the people are following Moshe and Aaron. That explains why the milhama with Amalek took 2 days. And only in the second day, when Yoshua is taking the command, they can win. Because they were not there. You know what Amalek did? Amalek is the best watcher. He's looking. He's finding the moment that the weak are over there. And who are the weak? The elderly that couldn't run so fast to the water. The one who are waiting from the family members to bring water to them. Or waiting for the water to come from Horeb to Refidim. That's where the people who were there, the weak. Not because they were unprotected because the army was not there. It's because the fact that people run, and probably in a very not ordered way, because they're thirsty. They're thirsty and then tired. You have to understand. And this is when a nation who has no humanity come back and attack those. So if you want to recognize Amalek today in our days, is the one that has nothing to do with us. We're not their neighbors. You know what? The Palestinians are not Amalek. Palestinians, I understand them. We're fighting. We have a conflict, the territories, right? This is not Amalek. This is the nations who are dwelling. We are going to take over. We are going to conquer and dwell in the land of Israel. But this is not Amalek. Personally, so Amalek is the one who comes from far. We have nothing to do with them. In the Middle East, who will be from far? That is a threat for us. Maybe Iran. What I have with Iran? Nothing. And what they coming on the name of what? On take over Israel and wipe Israel because they hatred to Israel and were looking to make terror attacks everywhere possible to hurt the weakest. Not the armies, not the strong one, the weakest. Maybe it's Iraq. I don't know if I have the courage to pinpoint and say Amalek of today is Iraq, because I can find other Amalekite also. Yeah, but my point is that this is our mitzvah of Lo Tishkach. Do not forget, don't be on denial that that's not happening again. Don't be on a situation to believe, we evaluated, the nation are not the same way. There is a pure hatred. And the Ramban is the one who defined it on 2 ways. He said, there is a hatred because Amalek want to replace Israel. He's going to want to be Reshit Goyim Amalek. He wants to be the first one. Yeah. And you know what? I want to take over Israel. And the other one, and therefore I have to negate God. Their God, their religion, let's call it that way, is an antithesis of the Islam or antithesis of the religion of my God. So therefore, their God, what I believe in God, has to be wiped out. This is milchama l'Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, emhe et zecher Amalek. It's my job to go against Amalek. Look, ki maho emhe. You know, and who is ordered to do that? Ketov zot bezikaron basefer. Write it in the book. What book? Torah shebirtav. Be'oznei Yehoshua. What is Oznei Yehoshua? Torah shebe'al peh. Orally, you have to understand. Hashem, take that offense as an offense against God directly. That's a Ramban. The second explanation of a Ramban is that the hatred to Israel without any reason, without any logical, what that would you call? Yeah, the pure anti-Semitism. Yeah, doesn't matter if you are, you're going to be accused to be a communist, you've been accused to be a capitalist, you've been accused to be a socialist, you've been accused to be everything. Doesn't matter at the same time. It's a hatred on the name of the hatred. And it's illogical, irrational. I didn't do to you anything. When this xenophobia exists, you can pinpoint that's Amalek. You can find Amalek. And that our mitzvah is anti-Semitism. Now, does Amalek have to succeed? Don't have to succeed. Look at the story of Esther. That's a peace of mind to us. But remember, because we're going to have to act against Amalek. And when you're acting against Amalek, we must be united. Anti-Semitism, BDS, and etc. We cannot be divided on opinion on those issues, because then the risk is bigger. I'm going to stop here. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen. Okay.